Cam, there are so many intriguing storylines in the NFL this upcoming season. Chiefs obviously won the Super Bowl. Again, we had the two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl for the first time. We entered 2023. I feel like black quarterbacks have never maybe been at a better place in this league. You think about Lamar getting paid, Jalen Hurts getting paid. Three of the top four picks in the draft were black quarterbacks. We know how loaded the AFC is. Aaron Rodgers is with the Jets. So many different storylines going on in the league right now. Being in your role as a national guy with the NFL Network, what's maybe the storyline that you're most excited about following as we kind of get uh, closer to the 2023 season?
Yeah, first I want to address what you just said. I think that's like super important of a time period we are. Like, there's still a lot of growth to go, but the evolution of the black quarterback. Jason Reed, a good friend of mine, actually wrote this um, book of the rise of the black quarterback. That's a really good book. He didn't know I was going to pub him, but it's a really
Free
good book
plug.
and what it means for America. And he wrote this before we saw Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. And I think it's really impactful because there was a time when black quarterbacks were forced to change position because athletic quarterbacks were not the in vogue. You had to stand and win inside the pocket, right? And there's some coaches that still have that old school mindset, but I think what you're seeing is a shift of the style of quarterbacks that are needed to win in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, you mentioned Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, heck, Anthony Richardson drafted in Indianapolis. These are quarterbacks who 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago may have been, second day, third day, maybe switch position type players because they're not traditional passers. They're not natural pocket passing quarterbacks. Now you're seeing it where the statue quarterbacks are becoming more out of the game than the mobile quarterbacks. And I think that's
Hmm.
great for the league. So I'm excited to see that continue to evolve. But I'm also interested to see, you mentioned sort of the landscape of quarterbacks. I don't know if we've ever had a more um, topsy turvy uh, divisional situation with the quarterbacks. I think there's probably 9 or 10 AFC quarterbacks that are probably in the top 12 of quarterbacks, and maybe two or three in the NFC. And it
It's
creates
insane.
such a crazy race for AFC playoff races that I think there's going to be a lot of teams and quarterbacks at home disappointed. I mean, you mentioned like Lamar Jackson just got paid and NFL's highest paid quarterback. He might be sixth, seventh on a lot of people's list, right? Which is
Crazy.
unreal. The
Yeah.
dude's won an MVP. But then you think, okay, well, we got Patrick Mahomes, we got Joe Burrow, we got Josh Allen, we got Justin Herbert, we got Trevor Lawrence behind me who's been balling, Aaron Rodgers got traded to the Jets. And that's all before you get to, Lamar Jackson on some people's list. And then you still have, you know, Deshaun Watson, you still got Tua Tagovailoa, Russell Wilson. I mean, that's just 10 quarterbacks to me. And I mean, Jalen Hurts would be in that mix. But beyond that, the NFC does not have that. I mean,
Yeah.
Dak Prescott maybe. We'll see, what Bryce Young eventually brings there, but it's just such a drastic difference. So I'll be interested to see that as well. That'll be something intriguing. And then we talked about this off air. I think for the first time in a long time, the AFC South is maybe a top two, three division as far as interest, at least to me.
Hmm.
And I think it's because of those rookie quarterbacks that were drafted to those teams. I can't wait to see Anthony Richardson in Indy. Like, I got a chance to be with him a lot this offseason. I wrote a feature about him for NFL.com. And I think that he's just one of the most unique talents that we've ever seen come into this league. Now, he has some development to be done, but if he gets it right, he could be a guy that we're talking about amongst the top
100%.
group
Yeah.
within 2 3 years. And then we got CJ Stroud in Houston, right? Right in the same division. He's going to be a guy that's consistently measured against Bryce Young. Was he the right pick at one? Should you have gone with the bigger quarterback? Can he revive the Houston franchise that, quite frankly, has been, off of national radar since they traded Deshaun Watson? So that's interesting to me. And then Tennessee, Tennessee is in a very precarious spot because it's a team that just hired a new GM and Rand Carthon, who is starting to build things his way. He tore down the offensive line, got very old there. There's a lot of question marks about the longevity of Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill there, and then you draft Will Levis in the second round, and so that team itself is going to be a very interesting team. Maybe mid-season, they're going to have some questions to make about what the structure is for this team long term. And the other element is there. People just say, "Oh, well, you just retool." Mike Vrabel isn't a rebuild type coach, and
Yeah.
it's not built that way. And
Yeah.
so they're going to have some interesting questions there. And they're a team that quietly has been, before last year, dominating this AFC South. And so, are we seeing a changing of the guard? So, to me, those are a couple of the storylines I get really excited about. And the other division to me is the AFC East. You look at Aaron Rodgers coming into that adds new life to what had essentially become a two-team division between the Bills and the Dolphins. Now it's a three-team division. The Patriots, the fourth team in that division. Bill Belichick, the last time he finished last in the division was 2000, which was early Brady Belichick era. So
Yeah.
that division to me, along with the AFC South, are two of the most intriguing to watch.